The Great Garbage Chase. We gulls just love garbage. Garbage dumps are one of our favorite places.
In fact, this beach is looking more and more like a garbage dump every day. There are so many bottles and cans and plastics and pieces of wood and globs of oil and tar.
But look, Ann, the garbage isn't heaped in piles. It's spread out in rows. Isn't that strange?
Where do you think it comes from?
I have an idea. Maybe at night people empty garbage trucks here like they do at landfills. Only here someone rakes the garbage into neat rows.
Let's stay up all night and watch. Let's hide behind a dune or a piece of driftwood.
Yeah. Not a single truck all night.
I have an idea. Maybe the garbage is in rows because people think they are planting seeds to grow garbage orchards in case they run out of trash.
This stuff doesn't grow. People make it. People use it and throw it away.
Hey, now that gives me an idea. Maybe it washed ashore after someone threw it overboard from a boat. I've seen people do that when they didn't think anybody was looking.
Let's go fly around and check it out.
Okay. I bet there are other ways that litter ends up in the ocean.
How do you think garbage and trash get in the ocean?
Look, here's litter floating in the ocean far away from shore.
Let's head toward land and fly in for a closer look.
Boy, there sure is plenty of garbage down there.
Pieces of wood from this pier that burned down have fallen into the water.
And there's some spilled oil. Sometimes the oil mixes with other waste to form those awful greasy tar balls I step on when I'm on the beach. Yuck.
Look at that barge filled with garbage. I know that garbage is not dumped legally in the ocean.
But I bet some of the trash falls off the barge into the water before it gets to the landfill.
No, Ann, the garbage barge has a net over it, and there's a boom around the loading dock. The boom catches any trash that might accidentally escape while the garbage is being loaded onto the barge inside that building.
A boom? You mean a floating curtain?
Yeah, you got it.
Here's some more litter and a softball. I'll bet some of it washed out of that pipe.
Where do you think that pipe comes from?
I think it connects to storm drains. When it rains a lot, the water goes down into the street drains and into those pipes.
Do you mean if someone is playing with a softball and it falls into one of those street drains, it may end up on the beach too?
Yeah. Street litter, softballs, you name it, into the storm drain and poof, onto the beach.
Look, Ann, there's another drain. Is that a storm drain too?
No, Max, that is a combined storm sewer overflow, called a CSO.
I've never heard of a CSO before.
Max, a CSO is a pipe connected to sinks and toilets in homes and businesses, and it is also connected to storm sewers.
Is that why it's called a combined storm sewer overflow?
Yes, and they are found in many of the older coastal cities. When there is little or no rain, wastewater collected from the sinks and toilets go to sewage treatment plants. The wastewater is treated at sewage treatment plants to make it clean. Any debris gets screened off.
But what happens when it rains?
Well, sometimes the water, plus the sewage, is too much to be handled by a sewage treatment plant, and some of it is diverted directly into coastal waters, untreated, and the litter, unscreened.
That's it, the missing link. A lot of what you find on the beach was once on the streets and in people's homes.
It got into those big drain pipes.
And flowed into coastal waters and then into the ocean.
Hey, I think we solved the mystery. We did it! We did it!
But hold on a minute. There's something I don't understand. How does this garbage get from coastal waters or rivers all the way to my beach 10 miles away?
Do you have any ideas?
I can't figure out how the garbage ends up on our beach. But we're smart gulls, so I'll tell you what. Let's follow this can floating here in the river and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
There it goes down the river.
And now it's heading into the ocean. It's being carried by the currents.
When water flows in one direction, it's called a current. Rivers have currents.
Although they're harder to see, oceans have currents too. An ocean current is like a river of water flowing in the ocean.
I see. Currents carry all sorts of stuff, cans and bottles and plastics and oil and wood, down streams and rivers to the ocean.
Oh, Max, it sure is getting windy.
Yeah, I feel like a kite getting blown around up here.
Me too.
Hey, look! Now the can is really moving fast towards the beach. What do you think is happening?
relax. The wind is blowing the can in the water just as we're getting blown around up here.
I get it. The currents carry the floating litter down the river and out into the ocean. Since the litter is floating, the wind can help move it too.
Sometimes the wind blows it back toward shore.
But there's one thing we haven't figured out yet.
What's that?
Why the garbage is in rows on the shore.
Let's watch. The can is almost at our beach.
The waves are crashing, and the can is carried in and left on the sand there.
But wait! Another wave is coming. Watch out!
That moved it farther up the beach.
And now another wave. But look, this one doesn't quite reach the can.
And the next one doesn't either. I've seen something like that before.
Like when kids build sandcastles on the beach, they build the castles far away from the water.
But later, the water creeps up to the sandcastles and knocks it over.
And other times, you build the sandcastles near the water.
And the waves move farther away.
That's because of the tides.
At high tide, when the ocean moves far up on the shore, the water leaves the can on the beach.
And as the tide falls, the waves don't reach the can, and it stays on the beach with other litter carried by the water.
And that's why there is a line of garbage on the beach. It's the high tide line.
Now the mystery's really solved.
But there is still another mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Why do people get rid of their garbage so carelessly?
Throwing their bottles and trash and used car oil into streams.
Or into the street, down sinks and toilets.
Or overboard while on a boat. It just doesn't make sense to us.
Because a lot of it will end up here on this beach in a few days or weeks.
Everyone should follow the recycling programs of their community. Everyone should recycle cans, glass jars and bottles, newspapers, plastics, and make sure to throw trash into garbage cans.
Otherwise, we'll be turning our beaches into garbage dumps.
And then our beaches will really be for the birds.
There are many federal, state, and local programs to reduce beach litter and marine debris.
There are also programs to improve combined storm sewer overflows so they don't spill trash into the water.
There have also been national beach cleanups.
And special boats in the harbor to skim trash and wood out of the water.
Despite all of these programs, the most important effort is to stop litter at its source. You.
Stash your trash.